Hello and welcome into another edition of Catamount Football Weekly as we talk Western Carolina Catamount football with head coach Mark Spear. I'm your host, Daniel Hooker. And coach, as we look back, really one of the more complete games that our team has played this year for our Catamounts. But again, it was one part of the ball game, a 2-minute span of the third quarter really flipped that game on its ear. And Mercer found some confidence and they go on for the victory 38-24 over Western Carolina last Saturday down in Macon, Georgia.
Well, it was a tough fought ball game. Going to halftime with a 7-3 lead. Thought our defense did a really nice job coming out and really shutting down the Mercer offense, who had been productive all year. We talked at halftime, been talking for a couple of weeks about coming out of halftime defensively, shutting down an offense. From that opening drive, and all year long, coming out of halftime, our offense had gone 3 and out. So I was really excited. I challenged them at halftime. Our defense came out, got a stop. Our offense goes out on the field and scores, and it's a 14-3 ball game, and we're feeling really good. And we go back and forth, and had that 2-minute span there with 2 turnovers in it. And a penalty, a selfish penalty after a touchdown that just kind of had been our theme this year, the Cats beating the Cats. And they scored 21 points in about a little over 2-minute span. And, we still were battling. Go down there late, and Detrez Newsom, who's one of our most reliable, productive, just leader, everything you want in a football player. We're going in to score, and nothing we could do on that third turnover of his was the Mercer defense. The mash just hit the football in his arm perfectly. It's one of those bang bang plays, and but at the end of the day, when you have 5 turnovers, it's hard to win a ball game. And these told our team, they know can be a good football team. Our record certainly does not reflect that. But, the East Tennessee State, the Wofford, the Mercer game, we were in the same exact battles last year with those teams. And last year, the Catamounts found a way to win those games. And this year, we're finding a way to lose those games. And that's the frustrating part. Mercer game last year, we're without Troy Mitchell, and Wes Holcomb has to come in and 2-minute drive right down the field to win that ball game last year. And the Wofford game last year, it's an onside kick there at the end to win the thing to seal the game. So that's the game of football. It's a game of inches and a game of momentum. And a game in the Southern Conference, when you have a lot of really good football teams, it's going to be the team that makes the fewest critical mistakes in the penalties and turnovers that's going to win those ball games. And so another disappointing loss for our team. But, again, our team knows that we've got the opportunity each week. We don't look at a season. We look at a practice at a time, a week at a time, and each week we got the opportunity to be a good football team, and got that opportunity against a really good football team in Samford this week.
Coach, you talk about adversity and overcoming adversity, and obviously your defense did that in the first half, knowing that the offense in the first quarter was shorthanded without Tyree Adams starting there in the backfield. But talk about the play of the defense, holding Mercer to just those 3 points. And again, you mentioned looking in a mirror. When our team gets on a roll and we get rhythm offensively, we're hard to stop. Mercer really similar in that second half.
Yeah, and a lot of that was, some of it was, obviously Mercer's got a good football team and good players. But, when you give Mercer the ball on the 3-yard line, we score, and one of our players makes a selfish, unsportsmanlike penalty, and so they're kicking off at the 50, and one mistake created another mistake. Detrez, because they're 15 yards closer and they sky kick the ball, he takes a quick peek to see, how quick the defenders are on him, and he fumbles. Had those defenders been 15 yards deeper, he'd had an opportunity to get on it, but we don't. And so one mistake, selfish mistake, creates another mistake, and you give Mercer the ball on the 3-yard line. It's hard to ask any defense. Now, it's defense's job, but it's hard to ask any defense to go out, after the momentum of scoring, and then you run out and your heels are in the end zone. And just the penalties after, the turnovers, it's kind of hard to ask your defense to time again to go out there and stop them. And, we made some mistakes defensively. We had some players that, that happens in the course of a game where eye control, you got a guy man coverage or a guy gets out of his gap. And one play, I know we've got them in a 3rd and long, and they complete a pass that should have been a 15-yard gain. We have 2 missed tackles, and now it turns into a 60-yard gain. So it's when you make a critical mistake in this league, opponents are going to make you pay.
Talking about an opponent that can make you pay, we look at the Samford Bulldogs, coach, a team that has moved into the national rankings over the last couple of weeks, a team that is very, very solid. Really offensively, I think that's what really is the shine of the Samford Bulldogs, but they are a solid football team from top to bottom.
Well, they've done a great job, and they're sitting there at 5-1. The quarterback is a tremendous player. They run that air raid offense. Coach Hatch has been in that system a long, long time and knows it well, and has got a quarterback that's tailor-made for that system. Got great arms, got a lot of experience and confidence in that offense. Got a great group of receivers. It's hard to get pressure. A lot of it, they want to go fast. They want to get one of those teams that he'd love to get 100 plays in a ball game. And it's a lot of quick passing attacks. Hard to get pressure on it because they got big old offensive linemen and they deep set, and they just build a wall, and it's catch and throw by that quarterback. They don't have a lot of. They got 6-8 route concepts, but their receivers understand coverages and know how to adjust the routes off of coverages, and a couple of run plays. And Coach Hatch doesn't make any bones about it. I mean, I was telling somebody they're just the opposite of a Citadel team. Whereas the Citadel runs, and you spend all that time defending the run, and those safeties creep up, and then they'll hit you deep on the pass, on that play action home run pass. Well, Samford's just the opposite. They open up the run with the passing game. They're going to throw that ball, throw it, and then the more you start creeping linebackers out, the more you start getting frustrated because you're not getting pressure on the quarterback. That's when they'll hit you with a draw play, with a zone play, with a play up inside that they kind of lull you to sleep in the passing game, and then they'll hit you with a big play in the run game because the quarterback can run. He got his first start, I believe, against us last year. He had played the game before, but got his first start against us. And I remember early on he had a scramble and went down their sideline for a huge gain. And we didn't really know a lot about him at the time, but he got our attention that, they don't want to run him a lot, but when he has to run, he got some wheels. And so you've always got to protect from the quarterback draw and the quarterback scramble. So they're a complete team defensively, very active. They're big up front. They play hard. They do a great job on defense, and they come with a lot of twists in the passing game, run twist to stop the run. Our front, our offensive front has got to do a great job in our protections and in our zone schemes, and because they're never sitting still. So it's going to be a great challenge for our football team. And the whole deal is we've got to be very efficient. We cannot turn the ball over, and got to minimize those penalties.
Coach, you were without one of your leading tacklers a week ago in Fred Payne. Looking to have him back in the back end of the defense this week?
He has practiced, not 100%, in Tuesday's practice, but getting a lot better, anticipating him being back. It's kind of like everybody right now. It's a musical chairs of who's going to play this week, who isn't. And, our mentality is next man up. Fred brings a lot to our defense. He's a great leader for us. And, he was itching to get in that ball game last Saturday, against Mercer, but just wasn't ready. But it felt like he'll be ready to go. And if not 100%, he'll be close enough. So, the whole deal's got to get our guys healthy, flying around. And they're going to complete balls. We just got to do a great job tackling, minimizing big gains, and do some things to hopefully confuse them with how they read coverages, and play a lot of players up front, and just got to go play hard. You got to tackle, and one thing we're challenging our defense is when they catch the ball, we got to be physical. We got to we got to hit those receivers. We got to make them pay, and I think we're trying to get our DBs and challenge to do that because they got a great set of complete set of receivers. There's not just one guy you can lock in on. And with their tight ends and the running back, they're a complete football team, and it's going to take our best effort.
So again, an entertaining ball game in Cullowhee a year ago, a high-scoring affair. Looking forward to two of the best passing teams in the Southern Conference to be on display this Saturday at Samford Stadium in Birmingham, Alabama. We'll be there live with the Catamount Sports Network at 6 o'clock airtime ahead of the 7 o'clock Eastern kickoff. A game can also be seen on the American Sports Network. For the coach, I'm Daniel Hooker saying so long for now. We'll catch you next week right here on Catamount Football Weekly.